videoing yourself, Gordon?
Yeah.
Is it on?
Yeah.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Alfred?
Yeah.
1, 2, go.
Good evening, Ms. Lowe and my fellow classmates. Let me make a confession. I am a nerd. And like most nerds, I like reading books. Today, I'm hoping to make all of you a little nerdier. My speech is on reading. Reading. I'm sure some of you, if not most of you, have actually negative connotations with the word reading. Being brought up in a country which prides itself on its education system, we have been subjected to books and more books in a valiant effort to get us to love reading, and as a result, perhaps love studying as a result. Well, we all know how that worked. It worked, sort of. When I was in primary school, I used to dish out awards to the students who actually read books actively. Little things like stickers and badges. Basically things kids could proudly bring home to their parents to show off. Well, I was in a competitive class, so this system actually made me love books. Now let me show you why reading is something everyone should do. All of us are exposed to pop culture. We watch movies, we watch cartoons, we listen to pop music. However, don't you get a feeling that all of this just never made you ponder about what I like to call the heavy stuff? Pop culture is made so it's easily digestible and is catered to the masses. However, it doesn't really make you think. Additionally, being a student, I'm sure all of you are constantly exposed to stress. Be it your studies or relationships, I'm sure everyone else faces stress every day. Also, have you guys ever been in a situation where you guys actually have a conversation with adults, like older adults, and not have anything interesting or intelligent to contribute to the conversation? Well, reading books is actually a great way to combat such issues or problems. I love books, and this is why I should give them a second chance. Firstly, reading books makes you truly think. Now I know, that sounds corny and cliche, but hey, it does not make it any less true. Let me give you an example of how books make me truly think for the first time. Has anyone actually read a book called Fahrenheit 451? Basically, while I enjoyed reading as a child, the books I read were childish and usually in the fantasy genre. You know, the kinds that turn to movies. In secondary 3, I was actually given Fahrenheit 451 as my literary text, and it changed my life completely. Essentially, the book is about a dystopian future where our country is a police state and the government has banned all books. In this future, firemen actually burn books instead of putting out fires. And there's actually a glimpse of how the fictional government has manipulated the masses into thinking what they wanted to think, and what is ideal and what is not, and distort the truth. In this future, the masses have actually voluntarily stopped reading books and actually turned to television as a source of entertainment. Doesn't that sound familiar? Books are powerful things. The deprivation of books allowed the government to manipulate the people into thinking what is right and what's wrong. Of course, in the modern context, that would include all forms of mass media as well. Osama bin Laden is largely known to be a terrorist, but do you guys know that he was actually a CIA operative as well? Reading allows you to look at things, look at events, people, organizations at different angles before making a decision. By not reading, you're actually condemning yourself to living a life of ignorance. Secondly, reading books help you to relieve stress. As a student, we have more than enough stress to go around. In fact, if I had $1 for every time I was stressed, I had enough money to buy a car. In fact, even at today's COE prices. Opening a book and delving into its contents and allowing it to transport you to another realm. Believe me when I say it's all you need for stress relief. For that moment in time when you're flipping through those pages, glued to every word, the troubles almost seem to melt away. And all you can think about is what's happening in the story. It could be a thriller, it could be a mystery novel, or even plain fantasy. Before you know it, you're scuba diving with whales, and you have 10 hours left to find the killer at the murder scene. A study done by the University of Sussex actually reveals that book is actually a great way to release stress, and it actually releases stress by 68%. This is actually the best way to release stress among other forms such as listening to music, drinking coffee, or taking a walk, or even playing video games. Dr. Lewis, the person who conducted the experiment, actually said this: losing yourself in the book is the ultimate relaxation. My third reason for why you should My third reason for why you should actually read books will probably help you guys get the attention of your eye candy. Like I mentioned earlier, have you guys ever been in a situation where you're having a conversation with older adults and you realize you have nothing to contribute to the conversation, nothing interesting, nothing intelligent? Well, my friends, reading is your answer. Throw out a quote from an autobiography you just read, or the author of a thriller you just read, and voila! You know what they say? Smart is the new sexy. In an instant, you feel you're instantly smarter and intelligent than you were just mere moments before. By reading, you expose yourself to all these advantages. Before you know it, you'll be stress-free, interesting, and a seasoned thinker. Now, isn't that just delightful? Imagine being at a social function, and you throw out names like George Orwell, or like book titles like The Catcher in the Rye. No promises, but you'll probably be the center of attention at the party. Well, at least people like me will come to you for a chat. So what am I expecting all of you to do after my speech? Simple. Pick up a book and give it a read. Go to the nearest bookstore and pick up a book that interests you. If you're a person who likes sports, pick up a sportsman's autobiography. If you're a person who likes mystery, pick up a mystery novel. In fact, here are some useful tips or words of advice. You should read the blurb behind every book, which is actually the summary behind every book. It actually gives you an indication of what the plot is and whether it's interesting, and you can actually find out whether it interests you or not. Another tip would be to read the first 10 pages of the book. It actually gives you, most bookstores actually allow you to read the book itself in the bookstore. Another confession, I have actually read an entire book in a bookstore before, so that's actually a great suggestion if you have time and money. By reading the first 10 pages, you actually get a glimpse of what the writer's style is like and see if that book's actually your cup of tea. A reader lives 1,000 lives, and before he dies. A man who never reads lives but one. That is a quote from George Martin, the author of the Game of Thrones series. So think about it. Why should you read a book? Why? That is not the question you should be asking yourself. The question you should be asking is, why not? Thank you.
Everyone, wait, Gordon, please.
804.
this still recording?
Yeah.